Hey runners, what's up? My name is Grady Congleton. I am the guy behind Pain-Free Achilles. After working with hundreds of runners on this issue, I noticed something more concerning. Many runners mistake early Achilles tendinopathy or tendinitis with tight calves. And I'm going to share with you why this is wrong and what to look for instead and how to get ahead of it. First warning sign. You know what I'm talking about. If you've had this, you know exactly what you feel when you wake up in the morning. You get out of bed, you take that first step, and it's tight. It's like tight and painful. It takes you 5 or 10 minutes to get that Achilles tendon to warm up. So it takes some time, and it's super frustrating because that's the first thing that you experience when you wake up. Is pain, and no one wants that. With normal calf stiffness, what you should feel is not pain. You should feel stiff. And the reason why it's stiff is because the nervous system is generating action potential and neurochemicals to the muscle to help shorten it, protect itself. Now, when it becomes a problem is if it becomes chronic, because if there's pain, then that means that the tendon is kind of like a frayed rope, right? Instead of being nice and strong and compact, it's frayed. It's all over the place, and it exposes the inside parts of the tendon. When it's exposed with all the nerves, the blood vessels in it, then that could become problematic and become painful. If you have morning sickness, here's what you should watch out for. If you have that morning sickness that recurs daily, then that's something to be concerned about. If you have an increase in stiffness and pain the day after a heavy or strenuous exercise bout. And here's a key detail. If that pain is persistent and particularly painful, one side as opposed to the other, that could also indicate early Achilles tendinopathy. Sign number 2, location matters. Usually with calf tightness, what we see is tightness that's above the heel bone, right? So the calves are up here and it narrows down to the Achilles tendon and attaches to this heel bone called the calcaneus. If we have just a regular calf tightness, what you should be experiencing is up in the muscular area. And there's lots of reasons why calf tightness could happen. It could be that is not strong enough for the activity that you want to do. So tightness is actually your body's indicator to you saying that it's not strong enough. It needs to be strengthened. A lot of people think that tightness because the muscles are actually tight. It doesn't become shorter. It's a nervous system protective mechanism. That's the key detail to remember when you're thinking about tightness or stiffness, things like that. Now here's where location matters. If you have early Achilles tendinopathy in one of two places, then you should get it checked out. First place, if you have pain right at the heel bone, right where the tendon attaches to the heel bone. Likewise, the second location is that if you have pain about 2 to 6 centimeters above the heel bone and you squeeze that soft part of the tendon up there. If you have pain or discomfort there, you need to check it out. The third sign that you should look out for is, and this one is interesting because it's a phenomenon that we don't really understand why it happens, but we know that it's strongly correlated with Achilles tendinopathy. It's called the warm-up response. And what this is if you have heel pain right at the heel bone or 2 to 6 centimeters above the heel bone, just like what we talked about, and you have pain, and you decide to go for a run to see if you can do it. And you go out for a run, and the pain goes away. One, it actually makes you feel better. One of the leading theories around that is the fluid builds up in the tendon leaks inside the tendon that irritates the nerves that are in the tendon. When you run, you're actually pushing that fluid out. As a result, you start to feel better. But then what happens is when you're done with the run, or if you do too much, the pain comes right back. And that is what we call the warm-up response. We see this a lot in runners who say, I feel great during running, but then the pain comes back. And while that may not affect your running, what could happen is you could increase the mileage, or you could end up doing too much, and as a result, pain happens during the run itself. You don't get that warm-up response anymore. Sign 4. The foam rolling response. If you put a foam roller right in the tendon and the calf muscle, you know what I'm talking about. It feels great. It might hurt while you're doing it, but after you do the foam roll, it feels awesome. And why is that? Again, it's a nervous system response. If the foam rolling is actually not changing the anatomy of the muscle, you're not lengthening anything, you're inhibiting the nervous system response, the neurochemical and electrical response that tells the muscle to contract and keep it tight. You tell those nerves to relax, and they do relax, and they feel good. The problem is the brain still senses that there's something wrong, and as a result, over time, it tightens up again. So you go back to the foam roller, and they still are getting the same result. It might feel good for a while, maybe 15 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours, but then that tightness comes back, especially if you go to bed and you wake up in the morning with pain. And that's the key sign of Achilles tendinopathy. Those symptom-specific treatments to try to treat symptoms, massages, shockwave, foam rolling, stretching, all these things don't actually fix the problem. They're like a band-aid. I have a 4-year-old son who stubbed his toe last night and it started bleeding all over the place. In that situation, a band-aid is a perfect way of taking care of the problem because you stop the bleeding. And second, he was in a lot of pain, and that band-aid provided a sense of comfort and security for him that helps him relax and feel protected and fine after that. And that's what we do with Achilles tendinopathy. We try to comfort ourselves and make the pain go away. And that's okay. But the problem is that we treat the underlying cause. And now I'm worried that my son might have a broken bone and is not saying anything about it because he's comforted by the band-aid. But in the long run, will it actually fix the problem? And that's something I'm keeping an eye on. With my son, with the runners with Achilles problems that I work with, that's also something I'm keeping an eye on. Did we address the root cause of the problem? Sign 5. Low tolerance. Now, if you're a runner and you've been experiencing above average running low, that might exceed the capacity of the tendon, that could be a contributing factor to Achilles tendinopathy. And if you're in that phase where you feel like you're doing more than what your body can handle, especially if you've had the other 4 signs, then this is definitely something that you need to get checked out. What do I mean by low tolerance? You have capacity with tendons, how strong your tendon can withstand activity at the low, right? If your low increases, then that can lead to tendinopathy. What I see a lot of people do is when they increase the low, they get pain. I need to decrease the low, and the pain goes away. But they do it too much. Maybe they rest for a couple of weeks, a month, the capacity decreases. Now, just a little bit of low could set up pain. So, it's not better. I need to rest again. And it goes down. And then that's a vicious cycle that you don't want to end up in. And that's why it's so important that if you have all these 5 signs, to get on top of it and treat the problem right away. That includes finding the root cause, dialing in mobility, strength, and finding the best way that works for you in terms of activity. Like, you can run with this Achilles problem. You just have to be smart about it. And it always helps to have someone guide you through it. So if you're someone who's been struggling with Achilles tendinopathy, if you try everything and While you may be able to run or compete in a marathon, you're doing this in excruciating pain. This is not the life that you deserve. You deserve a pain-free life. If this sounds like you, click on the link below. There's a link to a 30-minute strategy call with me that we can create your worry-free running plan together so that you can run confidently, freely, and stronger than ever. If you liked what we talked about today in this video, subscribe or hit like. This will help share this video with more people like you who might need it, who are struggling with Achilles tendinopathy, an injury that's so frustrating to deal with. Once again, I'm so glad to have you on this journey of pain-free Achilles, and I look forward to talking to you next time.